suggestion of sleeping in early if you know your partner stays late, so that when they come, you can have time to converse with them, is so important, because this is what happens many times. Couples could either separate because they are having too many disagreements and they are unable to solve, or they find that they just grow apart. Now, growing apart happens when we are not talking regularly. Every time we go out, we have influences from friends, from peers, from the things we see and read and all, and they change us gradually. If we are not regularly communicating with our partners and exchanging these ideas, we could simply just grow apart. We could wake up one day and not recognize the person we married because they would have so changed and we didn't keep track. That is why researchers say that it is advisable that couples spend at least 2 hours a week to communicate. Now, that 2 hours can be at a stretch, or it can be broken into small, small times of communicating, of communing, of having fellowship. Now, this is talking, not just sexual relations, so that they integrate their experiences together, and their experiences become shared and they can grow together. So we had a very interesting couple who had had challenges with infidelity. The husband had had series of affairs that lasted for 10 years in their marriage. And eventually the whole thing blew up. And then the question was, how do they heal? A lot of people wonder if it's possible to come back from an affair and have a happy marriage. I, for one, have been privileged to help people do this, and I've seen people have even a happier relationship after their affair. We want to hear them, and just basically what we are focusing on now is how they healed, what they did specifically to heal. Take a listen.
To be deliberate.
Exactly, that's key.
And you have to also work on your mental health. So I've heard a lot of people say, go your separate ways, and everything, is best that way. So a lot of people didn't know that we were separated for a while, not for a long time though, not for a long time, for a while. And I mean, maybe like a week or two, and it gave us time to think about, our lives and ourselves.
Appreciate our values.
Appreciate our values, And I kept a journal. And it actually started with there's this film. I can't remember the name of the film, but I think it's Love Dear.
Is it Love Dear?
It's called Love Dear. Whether the film was a diary, Love Dear.
Fireproof my
marriage. Fireproof my marriage.
That's a very beautiful movie.
Yes. So it wasn't like, so I started doing
the Love Dear 40 days.
But I didn't do the Love Dear. I created my own. My own, what I want to do in a 40 days or 30 days cycle.
I actually told that she was patronizing.
There was a time I bought a gift. I'm like, he said I'm patronizing him, and I'm like, look at this guy. You're the one that is hurting me, and I'm buying something, and you're telling me I'm patronizing you. I felt like that moment. I felt like, I see, I beg, just be going, But I felt in my spirit that no, if you really want to make this work, it's going to be hard. It's hard work. Marriage is hard work.
It's not good hard work.
It's bad. Yeah, but you have to be deliberate. You have to, you have to be deliberate. I see people on social media saying, "Hey, go into war room, enter war room." Like you said, prayer is just the key. But there are things that you need to do. Like, okay, I said, okay, I said, let's go for lunch. I took him out for lunch, and then I said, I booked a hotel. Let's go for weekend. And so those were the times. And then let's go for clubbing. And people will say, that's kind of, we clubbed.
We clubbed.
Let me tell you, we clubbed. And that was what really helped us. We will go, we'll dance, we'll go out to our friends. Those were the times that people were seeing us and saying, hey, these people like chilling. Hey, they have orphanage, they like to chill. like chilling too much. But they didn't know what I was going through.
What we were both going through.
You know, one of my mentors, Stella, called me one of the times. I can be in my room. I just enjoyed my company. I will stay in my room, carry my blanket, cover my head, and I'll be giving instructions under blanket to my staff. I'll be paying salaries under my blanket. I'll buy food under blankets for the children, the orphanage, under blanket. If they say children are sick and I don't know what to do, under my blanket, I'll be sending messages for fundraising. I'll be doing fundraising, everything in my room. I can be in my room for 1 week. I won't go to the parlor. I won't step out of the gate. 1 month, I will not be. I won't, and I really didn't care. I'll just be there. So my mentor called me, Estella. She said, she asked me, how are you? You know that song, how are you, my friend?
Yeah.
It's a strong song. That question, how are you, is a strong question. She said, how are you? I said, I'm okay. Then I know just that time when you ask me, how are you? I'll just start crying. But I can tell you I'm okay. Oh, the next thing is I can be crying and you don't even know I'm crying. But because she was one of my mentors.
She's very alert.
And she was alert and she heard my voice change and she said, let me call you video. She's in US. She called me video and she saw my eyes. I was crying. So what is the problem? I couldn't even bring myself down to tell her this is the problem. And she just said, okay, what are the signs? What are you going through? I just started telling her, how are you feeling? I said, I'm feeling numbness. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do the things I enjoy doing. I don't want to do. I can't forget her words. So you're going down, down, you're going down. Then she said, I rebuke the spirit of depression out. Me, I didn't even know saying that depression. I didn't even know. She was the one that encouraged me to see a doctor, and all of that. Do what you love doing. She will call me every day. Every day she will call me. She said, what do you love doing? I said, I love to dance. I love to hang out like once in a while. It's not like she said, okay, I see, you love to dance. So why not look for a place to dance? And then we started going out, go and dance.
So this couple found love again because they went back to the things that they used to do to each other. They went back to caring for each other, to doing specific things for each other, even though that was not the reason for the affair, but it helped them heal through the affair. Then they engaged in hobbies. Many of us, when we get married, we forget that we used to have hobbies with our partners. We throw away that part of our experience completely. It will be great, even if you're not suffering or trying to heal from any form of trust break, because trust can be broken in other ways, not just infidelity. It can be in financial matters. It can be not being there emotionally when your partner needs them and all. Those things can lead to a breakdown of trust, and it will take time to heal. But if we do these things together, we'll be able to heal, become more accountable, become more open, invest in the relationship. Like, look at her, even though she was the one that was hurt, she spent time to woo him again, just as he was trying to win her again. So go ahead and do those things because they can make your relationship work and become even more beautiful. Then we had this beautiful conversation with the Johns. Now, in this conversation with the Johns, they talked about their challenge with delayed childbirth. They had to wait 17 years for childbirth. How does a couple stand it to go through failed medical experiences over and over and wait 17 years? You need to hear this.
When in marriage, always there's ups and downs. And once you made up your mind that okay, you choose to love this person, and you feel you had, no matter the circumstances, you have to hold on to that person. And in reality, we were waiting. We got our only daughter when we were almost 17 years of marriage.
You waited for 17 years.
Yes, that was when our daughter came. And so since she came, we've been trying to at least see whether if we can still get other children. But as God will have it, we have not seen any other one yet. because of the love that we found in ourselves right from day one up to today. The love is still growing, even every blessed day, every second is still growing. You can see us. This is not the way we were as of the time we started. We're very, very young. Very, very young. That was when we started. So, but now, at least I thank God for everything. That at least God has even heard our cry and gave us a child. We are so grateful to God. And I've made up my mind that whether there is child or no child, we will live till the end of time.
So my question to you would be, how committed are you to your relationship? If there's one thing we have seen consistently from all the couples we have interviewed, is their level of commitment, their unwavering determination to stay together. If you remember when I played that small clip from the Davos conversation too with his partner, you heard her say, we are here for the long haul. We are not leaving, we are here and we are going to be here. And so even though they have their conflicts, they have their disagreements, they know that they are here. Many people injure that. They break down their family structure and the sense of stability that marriage offers by threatening constantly to leave. But you see, this couple, despite their challenge with having a child early, despite they had to wait 17 years, you heard the man say, I had an unwavering pledge. I am here for the long run, whether I get a child, whether God blesses us with a child or not. We are not living, we are here together and we are all in this together. That's so huge. We also had a couple who experienced several infertility issues, miscarriages before they finally had their child. I think that was the Oketonas. And they also expressed this same togetherness. They went through it together. Nobody was pointing accusatory fingers on the other, but they went through it as a couple, united front, facing the challenge that life had brought to them. So I spoke to the Amio Ferres, and when we spoke, they told us how they had to leave Nigeria because the husband was a diplomat, so they worked in different countries, and he was so busy. Now they chose in their family that the wife will not work because they needed somebody to be home with the children, to raise them so that they come out the way they had envisaged their children coming out. And so when we had that conversation, at some point, even while at home, she went back to school, upgraded, did psychology and all. So I asked her about her thoughts on women working and balancing their family situation. This is what they had to say.
I was lucky that my husband had a job that could cover everybody in the family. Even if I was very restless, I would sell sand. I would do this. I would do that. It's not my money that was really running the family. It was providing everything we needed. But there are situations where the woman has to bring also for the family to be comfortable. So pursuing a career is not a bad thing. If you have the opportunity like me while you're home, taking care of the children, you can still build yourself. You can still build yourself for the future so that by the time the kids are grown and leave the house, you will now start running after that career that you thought you have lost out on. Because it's never too late. If there is life, you can do anything you have decided to do with understanding between the both of you. Because there is supposed to be a lot of communication, a lot of friendship. We discuss everything, almost everything. So it might not be okay with him. He will tell me where it's not okay with him. And I know when to speak. I've learned not to speak while I'm upset because I will not give my point across. So I learn to speak when I'm not upset. So if a woman wants to pursue a career, there is nothing wrong in it. But she has to understand her role as a mother. You cannot pursue your career and neglect your role in the marriage. It has to be balanced. If the career is taking too much of your time, you have to cut down if you can. But if you can't, it's something to sit down and discuss with your husband, because when you're not there, you really don't know what's happening to your children. You have to be there for the kids to turn out the way you have planned your family, plus prayers. I'm not saying that if you're there 100%, the kids cannot go wrong, but it's going to be really difficult for it to go wrong, because if you're present in the life of your children and something is coming up, you spot it on time, and somebody else will not come and point it out to you. So the career can always come along. Not going out to work every day does not mean that you cannot build yourself. You can build yourself. You can also work from home. Now it's even easier. We do a lot of things online. You can do so many things online. Even till now, I don't go out so often unless we have outreaches. I do everything I do online, and I still get what I want to. So I will not discourage women from being ambitious, but it's important for them to also know their goals so that there will be balance in the family.
I think that is very, very important. I think when one parent decides that I'm going to make a particular sacrifice, I'm saying this not really from experience, but just to add to what he has said. The point really is that ultimately, when you are married, you are young, you are also growing old. You are gradually, yes. And so your focus should also be when it gets to the point where, that is to say that you must also focus on making sure that the children are properly brought up. And that is a responsibility for both of you. So anybody, any one of you can at any point in the course of your marriage make that extra sacrifice to ensure that the kids are properly brought up, to ensure that the kids are focused on their education, and that tomorrow they are not going to constitute a problem for you. I've heard a lot of situations where children were neglected because of career, and the children became an albatross or something that's on the neck of the parents, So that has to be avoided. There has to be, as we keep saying, some level of balance. Sorry, we took a bit of your time here.
No. Another thing that happened while bringing up our kids, my husband was very, very busy. When I say busy, you know what I mean. So, but anything that happened in the house with the kids, I made sure that I knew. So he knew them while he was very busy. He knew everything about his children. There was nothing I kept like a special thing that I can hold against him. Like, oh, you were not here when this happened. He knew every single thing that happened, every single word they said, every mistake they made, every success. He knew about everything. So we're all in it together.
So yes, it is vital for parents to be present. Now, I often tell people this: children understand love by availability. Yes, availability is what means love to children. Of course, they have other love languages, but the one that is primary and general to children is availability. How available are you as a parent? Now, like this couple suggested, Ambassador said you don't have to, it doesn't always have to be the woman, it's the person that has the most time that should make themselves available in the relationship to help the children at that point. What are you doing to ensure that your children grow within the culture that you are raising? If you leave them in the hands of other people, the problem is you are unable to control the influences and the culture in which they grow. If it is different from yours, especially. So you want to be present, you want to be there. And I strongly believe that if you choose to have children, then you should be ready to make the sacrifice to ensure that they grow well. At least one person has to be as much available as possible. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have to work out, but it means that you also have to dedicate time to be there for your children. So, still speaking on the issue of culture, we had a conversation with the Oketonas, and they talked a lot about their culture of bringing in their children for vacations. They played a lot with the children. They had some other things that they did with their children to ensure that their family is bonded. And I think that is something that we're missing in Africa. Many of us do not value spending time together, having holidays. So let's listen to what they have to say about vacations, holidays, and how they raise their children.
We discovered that during those vacations, we formed a better bond with the children and with each other. What we do outside the home, were more. We had opportunity to meet other people, and then we discovered that traveling out of our base, even not necessarily even out of the country, even just to Makodi, to Abuja, was education for us and for the children. So as we went from one place to the other, we got better knowledge, we met more people, we increased our network by traveling. We met people, some were coincidence, while some other ones were prearranged. But we discovered that going out of our comfort zone to just go to another place to go and rest or relax or remove every other issue that we had from our mind was really, really therapeutic.
We use that opportunity to speak to the children, to challenge them, to tell them that there's no limit to where they don't have limits, So it has really helped us. It has really, really helped us. In fact, to a point where some of the girls are not here, but we talk regularly. We can't, for me, it's extremely difficult to spend 24 hours without speaking to any of them. So that's how this exercise has really helped us. So I think, look at the cost. You may say that it's going to be expensive. Yes, it's expensive, but you need to invest in the relationship. You need to invest in the things that matters to you the most. So we felt family is first. Family is the most important thing, and we get to invest in it. So traveling together is a form of investing into the family, and I can tell you again.
amazing as you look at what they talk about their daughters, how close they are with the kind of neat family they've been able to raise. And one of the ways they did this was through vacationing. Of course, they also tutored their children. So their children learned entrepreneurship without even knowing that they were in school learning entrepreneurship. They learned about family and business. They also learned financial management without being in any school, without having prior school knowledge about this. They learned them from home because the parents opened up and taught. Again, this boils back to what you want, because it's what you want for your children that will determine how much you're able to invest and how much you're willing to build. And about vacations, please take vacations, do something different. Even if it is the same town, go to a part of the town you may not have experienced together, and then experience it with your family or as partners, just the both of you. Have that experience. It has a way of strengthening bond. You heard it from them. It strengthens bond. You increase your net worth because you meet other people. You also are able to learn a lot. Now, speaking about finance, most of our couples who lended a voice to finance spoke about how they were open, completely open to each other about finance. So nobody was making money and hiding it. And I strongly know that this is one key secret for people who are happy in their relationship, because you don't want your relationship to suffer undue financial pressure. Now, financial pressure can come when your partner believes that you have more money than you actually have. Now, they will not know if you are not open. So having spoken about openness, when I spoke to the Omowa Diaz, he also talked about having a structure, a financial management system that helped them manage their resources as it came. And I thought that was huge, so I decided to share it with you.
This is what is working. So I learned it from, funny enough, you don't know most times I read your status.
Wow.
Yes, I read your status a lot. Then on Instagram, I read some of your posts a lot. But you don't know. So I learned a lot from some of your posts.
Wow.
So they say marriage, like as I said, marriage is an institution. So there was a day, I was seeing in one of your WhatsApp group, this guy from Plateau. I can't remember his name now. There's something he posted on the platform. I learned from him too about finance. So for me, you must have a plan. If you just the two of you, the way you spend may be reckless. Maybe at times you just feel like you don't want to eat at home today. You just let's take care of ourselves outside. But by the time you start having paying school fees, paying rent, then you not be looking at buying clothes for yourself. Now you not be looking at buying clothes for your children that are coming. So definitely you have to have this plan. This is what I do. I earn XYZ amount of money. I divide it into 4. Right? 1 is for special projects. 1 is for family upkeep. That family upkeep is like the joint account, so that your wife should be accessible to it. She too can also be, we too can be accessible to it. Or you can even make that that kind of post. Maybe your wife will manage that post definitely for home keep. Then you have 1 for health. Yeah, your health is very, very important. Make sure you take good care of yourself. Then if your company manages that for you, fine, no problem. But if you don't, you have to plan for that as well. You now have 1 for vacation. So like the 1 for your project, you can either source it from the children's school fees or your rent and all of that from there. Because school fees, rent is a recurring expenditure. It's not a one-off. You keep paying until you retire from paying school fees. Like we have 3 classes of care. Production. Now we've stopped production, which I've been begging her, and thank God she have listened. We stopped production. So we are now in maintenance. So that maintenance is usually a long-time plan. So you have to plan ahead like 20 years from now. I'm not using Nigeria's scenario because there are some of us, even at 20, 23, 25, even 30, we're still living with our parents. Because we already have that expectation that what we experienced when we were with our parents, we don't want our children to go through that. So you now make a projection of like 20 years from the year they start school. So the year they start school is not part of it. How much are you going to be keeping aside to make sure that when they ask for school fees, you are able to? Now, another thing is that because there's a lot of things that will cause financial strain, so what we've done is that we cannot rely on the salary alone. We have to be doing some side hustle and to make sure you also augment, because the Nigeria of today is even everywhere. The salary most times cannot really take off everything.
True.
So you have to be doing one or two things, side hustle, to augment what you already have. So you look at these four plans, these four pockets or wallets, and see how you can fund them, either from your salary plus your side hustle. And you have to be faithful in doing that. Does not mean that you have to earn a lot of money before you can actually maintain this. You can be earning like 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira, and you have to make sure you fund these wallets every now and then.
Home financial structure can be slightly different. The one we use in our home is slightly different. We have 6 purses actually, and we separate our finance based on these 6 purses. Okay, let me just give you a quick rundown. We have education. Now, when we talk about education, personal development, that's both we and the children's own do not fall here. Is our own continuous education. So that's education. We have fun and adventure. So everything, vacation, eating out, we have a cost for it. We also have investment. That's investment. Then we have savings for the future. So these emergencies, unexpected spending and all, it comes from this cost. Then we have charity, yes, money that we give out to other people. Then the 5th cost, which takes 50% of our income, goes for running the home, recurrent expenditure, and all. So that's us. You can find whichever works for you. The thing is, I have a management system. Now, many people do not know the pressure that money puts on their relationship or on them because they do not have a management system. And if you have been living that way for long, you may not even understand the pressure you are on until you find a system that works and you turn back and say, oh my God, so you mean I put this whole pressure on myself? You begin to enjoy the benefits of having relief. In a world where we have so many stresses, you don't want this to be one. Find a management system that works for you and begin to implement it today. All right, so I think we have run through virtually everything now, but before we take a break or we end this special session, I want to share with you a recommendation from the Alliance. They spoke about my work as a marriage coach. They spoke about subscribing to our channel so that you continue to learn from different people, because everybody has his perspective and one may not fit you, but another may just be the one that breaks the ice for you. And then sometimes you just take a bit of each and mix it up and have a unique cocktail that is yours, is original, and you are happy with. So take a listen to this recommendation.
I think that Rings That Bind, and particularly the staff that are behind it, particularly Ms. Obete and then her team, are an amazing group of people who are experts in the subject. And people need to learn, especially for Sub-Saharan Africa, need to learn that this is really, really important. I have referred people to you and your program in the lead up to marriage, especially people who matter to us. I've also referred people who are hitting the rocks, who probably did not do that lead up to marriage there. And we ourselves also, we learn and we glean from what you have done. So this is like an all-out recommendation that there are materials out there available from the team, Rings That Bind and Visibility and the team. I think people need to get them. I think that the pre-marriage counseling packages, the packages that are married, they are much more worth it. In fact, the things that you learn are worth much more than anything that you might pay. And then we would like to encourage that you subscribe to the channels that are showing this, and that you make sure that you continue to follow, because this is not just a one-day transformation, right? It takes a lot. It takes a journey, and then be patient with those processes. So our heart, from the depths of our being, with all the recommendation that is possible, we think that there is a lot of spiritual thought that goes into this, a lot of psychology that goes into this, which is a great thing, a lot of expertise. And when you sit with the Rings and Binds team, you see that there is a lot of scientific process that goes into drawing out the ideas and then the thoughts that are forwarded, the concepts that are forwarded. So it's not just some wishy-washy, yeah, we want to do marriage counseling. Be patient. There is a lot of thought and depth that goes into this, and for that we are careful to say thank you, and we acknowledge the grace of God on your life and the things that you are doing. So please, as many people have one issue or the other, and you need to talk with the counselor, Rings That Binds is very good, one of the great outlets and one of the great places that you can go to learn and to grow.
Rings That Bind, an online program where our couples help keep the marriage conversation going. Just like life itself, marriages have their own ups and downs. Committing to another individual until parted by death is not always smooth sailing, but it can and does endure challenges and trials. Rings That Bind is a Zoom program that is being streamed live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages of Bridge Africa Magazine and Financial View International, that featured long married partners sharing how they have been able to keep it together both through good and rough times. Marriage is not a bed of roses, but with God in the factor, with love, commitment, perseverance, a home of bliss is surely achievable. We all know that divorces and separations take a heavy toll on all those involved, including the children of the union concerned. A lot of emotional, financial, and physical stress comes with the territory, and that is why we at Ring That Bind team are using this platform to help reduce the incidences of broken homes across our societies. It is always said that where two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. If you and your partner have been married for at least 10 solid years, then you are surely doing something right. Therefore, we are inviting both of you to join us on a live Zoom session where we will get to know the ways and means you ensure that your wedding ring, which you exchange on that fateful day, indeed bind both of you together and forever. You will be helping so many couples who would love to learn from you and apply the winning formula to their own marriages for the successful continuation of their matrimonial home.